everyone, and welcome back to another video here on Sam's Crafty Castle. And today we are going to be doing just a coloring video. So I had a different plan for this video originally, but kind of got started on it, and it's been a while since I colored anything. I had this plan. This stamp set is called Blooming Butterfly, and it's from Gina Designs. And I had this plan to do like a spotlight coloring with the flower, because the flower in the butterfly's wing does have like a matching flower in the stamp set. But I forgot / didn't realize that this stamp set didn't have dies, first of all, which is going to make my original idea kind of difficult. And I could have done it with my scan and cut. In fact, it probably would have been better with my scan and cut than with the die set. But I was feeling a bit lazy and didn't want to get my scan and cut all set up, because when I filmed this / now, I was getting ready. Well, when I started this, actually, I wasn't getting ready for crop and create yet. But still, I didn't feel like getting my scan and cut out, long story short. And I decided to, and I also stamped it, and was kind of like, I just haven't colored anything in a while, and decided I just kind of wanted to color it once I had it stamped and looked at it. And I went, you know what? We're just going to color it. And I was in the mood to do some colored pencils. And that came back to kind of bite me in the butt a little bit, that decision. I've been doing a lot of markers lately, because I've been doing a lot of sort of last minute videos, where I'm not really ahead on videos right now. I'm pretty like caught up to where I should be. So I've been doing a lot more markers, because markers are quicker and a lot easier. But I happen to have some really crazy, like, busy stuff going on. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to film this all in one day. So I decided to do pencils, because I could start and stop it really easily. And that ended up backfiring, because all of a sudden it took me 3 weeks to finish coloring this in. So, this is one of those things where I say coloring takes time, so just be prepared for that. And it's even longer when you're doing pencils. And I'll admit, too, I just want to throw this out there, because this is not my best colored pencil coloring that I've ever done in my life. It's good. It's fine. Actually, I've already sent this card out, and the people that I sent it to have already gotten it. So, they don't care. They don't know any better. Although, they will watch this video, most likely, so they will know. But that's okay. They won't care either way. But it's not my best colored pencil coloring. Couple things for that, and I'm going to kind of use this to explain them to you. Kind of a little mini coloring tips and tricks kind of situation. One thing, I think I already did it, and I don't think I mentioned it. This was a brand new stamp, so when you're watching me stamp the stamping section of it, I had to stamp it a few times, because it is a gigantic stamp, and B, there's a lot of really solid black areas, and sometimes those don't like to stamp very nicely on the first try. And that was the case with this. It didn't want to stamp very nicely on the first try. And that's fine. That's why we have Misties these days. They make that problem very easy to solve. But I still had a few spots that just didn't want to stamp. And they were getting better with each impression, I think is the right word, of the stamp. I kept wanting to say each pass, but that's more of like a die cut thing. Anyway, every time I used the stamp, it was getting better. So it wasn't necessarily like a defective stamp issue. If it was a defective stamp issue, it wouldn't have been fixing itself, but it was fixing itself, and I just ran out of patience, and it wasn't that big of a weird spot. But the solution to that situation, if you're like me and you're just like, yep, it's definitely not a defective stamp, because every time I'm doing it, this spot that I'm worried about is getting darker or filling in or whatever. But I don't have the patience to keep doing this till it actually looks right. And this is true even if you have a defective stamp. If you have something that's you've gotten secondhand and maybe they didn't use that stamp, then you find out that it's defective, or a section of it won't stamp, or if you just, I mean, we all have stashes full of stuff that we don't necessarily use as quickly as we should once we get it. And, you know, I have some of those. I've had that happen where I haven't used something in a timely manner and then all of a sudden discovered that something is wrong with it. So, like, it happens. It's really easy to fix. If you have a black marker, if you have a black colored pencil, if you, Copic, I can't think of the name of them off the top of my head all of a sudden. But they have a line of pens that's all Copics, I think. I'm entirely blanking on what they're called right now. But, like, there's options. You can just use something like that to fix it. And in this case, I just grabbed out my black colored pencil. Now this one, the lines that weren't stamping were very thick, so it makes it very easy to fix. It's a little trickier when you're dealing with something like if it was a spot in the flowers that wasn't stamping, I would probably spend a little more time trying to get it right. But because it was a spot in the butterfly that wasn't stamping quite the way I wanted it to, I just went in with my black colored pencil and colored over the spots that didn't look perfect, if you will, and fixed them up. So, honestly, I have a feeling that if I hadn't done that, once the image was colored, you wouldn't have even noticed. But I hadn't quite decided that I was going to give up my spotlight idea at that time, so I wanted to make sure it was stamped well. But like I said, and I kind of sat down and started looking at coloring just the section I needed to do the spotlight coloring stuff, and was like, no, I really want to color the whole thing though. So I started coloring the whole thing, and then promptly it made it take me 3 weeks to finish it. And normally a colored image like this would only take me a couple hours. I just was busy, and I had an entire weekend that I didn't even make it into my craft room, which is like my prime video filming time. So it took me a lot longer to finish. And you're gonna be like, why do we care that it took you 3 weeks? Well, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Because this part I did all pretty much in one day. Plus, you're also gonna see a whole bunch of outfit changes in this video. The times where you'll see where you can actually see what I'm wearing. You can't always, because sometimes I have short sleeves on, but I go through a short sleeves, a long sleeves, I go through another outfit, and there's some times where I like kind of get in the screen, so I was just, yeah, you guys really don't care about that, I'm just rambling. But anyway, that's that. So I went with really simple blends for this. I just pretty much grabbed out 3 oranges colored markers, 3 yellow colored markers. I don't know if I love that I didn't do the butterfly's wings all orange and that I'd left those little yellow sections in there. I was trying to be creative. I don't know if I like it. I also am really wanting to do a pink butterfly right now while I'm watching this back, but yeah. We're gonna have to do something with a pink butterfly, because I'm feeling the needs to do a pink and purple butterfly all of a sudden. And I have some stuff that I just got that maybe that needs to happen. But off topic. So I think I already showed you. Maybe I cut that out of the video. I might have cut it out. I don't know. I showed you that I did pull out a color palette from the color catalog for this, and I know I've mentioned this in other videos, but I just looked up on in the like Prismacolor companion set to it and figured out what colors matched out of there. Although I didn't for this part. This is the flowers. So the butterfly wing was like a day and a half, and then I came back about a week and a half later to do the flowers. So I don't know why I didn't, because I have the color palette saved, so I don't know why I didn't look it back up. I think I just didn't have my iPad with me in my craft room that day, and I was just feeling lazy and didn't want to get up and go get it. So the red combination is entirely made up. The orange for the butterfly and the yellow for the butterfly, I pulled at least one of the colors in that directly from whatever the color catalog palette said. For the flowers, I think I just grabbed 3 reds, and that was it. The flowers is one is the part that I don't like, weirdly enough. Like I said, I'm not sold on the yellow on the butterfly, but I still think it works. I kind of wish I would have just done it all orange, but that felt boring when I was doing it, and I didn't want to be boring, basically. So then I started doing the flowers. The flower centers, I just did a plain, I just grabbed one of the yellows I'd used in Butterfly and used that for the flower centers. But I think in the end I pulled three colors. No, I did use all three colors. Um, I pulled three colors that were too close to each other. The reds, I didn't, like I said, I did not really put any thought into my red combination for the flowers, and I should have. Because I would have picked colors that were a little bit further apart had I like checked my swatch chart or my hex chart or something like that. Because I kind of just grabbed three reds that were right next to each other, and I feel like I lost a lot of that sort of dimension and stuff. It just didn't come out. They all look like they're just one color red, although it is very pretty. but um, but yeah, I could have done a little better there. The other thing that I kind of wanted to mention is this just my reminder, and this is true of anything when it comes to card making and paper crafting, I guess. Um, Mostly coloring and ink blending. Your paper makes a difference. This paper is not my favorite colored pencil paper. I have two that I use a lot, which are the Gina K Artist Choice and the I can't think of the name of that right now either because it's been so long since I last bought some. It's a Canon though. I'll look it up and it'll be linked in the description below. It is a Canon like brand though. Or Canson brand. My bad. That's yeah. You can tell I'm recording. I usually record these voiceovers in the morning because I am far more of a morning person than I am a night person. But I'm recording this video or recording this voiceover at night, and I can tell with how much I'm stumbling over things. So anyway, it is a Canson brand paper. I know that. I can't remember the like actual name of it though. But like I said, I'll look it up and have it linked in the description box below, along with everything else, like always. And yeah, so I'm not using either of those papers. This is just some scrap paper I had lying around because I've been really trying to use up some of my scraps, and most of my white scrap paper is Copic friendly, because that's what I do. So I try to like keep as much Copic friendly paper around as I can, just because then that just lets me reach for whatever I have handy and I don't have to worry about it, worry about like what I'm trying to do with it. So I mean, some of it I like more than others. So like my Gina K heavy base weight white is my favorite for Copic markers. I want to try Express it again. I've tried it before and I didn't like it, but I kind of want to try it again, just because I have a better sense of what I'm doing with my markers now than I did when I first tried it. So I kind of want to try that again, but I haven't ordered any yet. And because it's kind of expensive, and the Genie K stuff is less expensive, and in my experience, just works just as well. But everyone has their preferences. I do have a couple other like brands, too. Mostly it's the SCT brand because I get so much. They send you so much paper with their events, and it's great. It's fantastic. Love it. But like I was able this weekend is Scrap and Create weekend, and like when you're watching this, I'm in Crop and Create. Well, maybe this video goes up at midnight. So if you're watching it at midnight, like when it goes up, I'm not in class. I'm sleeping. But if you're watching it at any point during the day, I am most likely in Crop and Create class. If you're watching this the weekend it goes up, and filming away that vlog, but I have so much paper from past events that I didn't even have to open the pack of paper that they sent me this time. I was able to do it I was able to get everything together with just paper I've had left over from the last events, that I've done with them. It's great. We're paper crafters. Send me all the paper you want. I'm not complaining about it. But that I have a lot of it. So that's the other paper that I use a lot. And I'm pretty sure that's what this is. It was from SCT. And it's not awful. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just some paper is better it's great for markers. It's fabulous for ink blending. But colored pencils, you generally want a paper that's got a little bit of a tooth to it, and this is very smooth. So my blending doesn't work as well. I was also, though, now, like, at this point, we are 3 weeks into this card, and I'm, like, getting to a point where I'm like, I just want this done, because it wasn't supposed to take me 3 weeks. It was supposed to take me, like, a couple hours, like, maybe 4 hours over 2 days or something. But I just got distracted and got behind, and, you know, life gets in the way of crafting time, and it's really annoying sometimes. That's kind of just where we were with that. So now I'm just doing the leaves. Again, I did kind of the same thing. I just grabbed out 2 random green pencils that looked like they were gonna vibe. I didn't even check these combinations. Like, usually I'll, like, grab out a piece of scrap paper and kind of, like, shade a little bit and check a combination, like, how is it gonna blend, like, and even though it's not the best blending when I do that, like, I can usually make a pretty good guess of how it's gonna look once I've got all the layers down and all of that kind of stuff. And I didn't even do that. We just went in blind, and we're like, these are 2 green colors. Somehow they will make something pretty. So, you know, sometimes you just do that. And yeah. So yeah. So color pencils, layers. Layers are your key. Basically, don't do what I did in this video. Because I didn't give myself a good enough paper to give me lots of layers. The Canson paper that I use is super, super toothy. Like, super, super toothy. So that boy, I get a lot of layers on. But things take a lot longer because I need to do so many layers to get the blending to work. So, like, you know, it's personal preference. Again, here, I was kind of trying to make it so that, I mean, this video's already sped up 5 times and it's like 20 minutes long. And I was trying to not make this video last forever. And I could have done it with my fancy Canson paper, but I would have had to speed the video up like 10 times probably to get it into an appropriate. I try to keep everything to about 15 to 20 minutes, if not like 30, maybe. And vlogs will go longer. Vlogs can be 45 minutes to an hour, but like all my other videos, I try to keep about 15 to 20 minutes because I know everyone's busy. Not everyone has a ton of time. So yeah. Anyway, this was the part where I started to go, I finished coloring it, and I was like, okay, coloring it's done. It took me so long, but we got there. And then I realized that at this point it had been so long since I started the video that I no longer remembered the original vision I had for the card. I remember sitting down to make this card and playing with that stamp set and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I have this vague memory of I wanted to do some kind of 5x7 situation. But as soon as I finished coloring it and sat down to actually, like, turn it into a card, no memory whatsoever of what I wanted to do with this butterfly. I was also very much in a rush to get an anniversary card out. So I was like, okay, this is going to be it was going to be a birthday card at first. And I was like, nope, I need an anniversary card. I don't have one. And it needed to go out, like, 2 days before I filmed this video, and I still didn't have it done. So I was like, okay, it's an anniversary card now. Just sometimes that happens. You just, like, lose track of things, and all of a sudden you need cards that you forget about, and that's a fun time. So I was quick scrambling to get this anniversary card out. So luckily, I had reached back into that cake topper stamp set because I'm still on the hunt for an anniversary stamp and die. I have some options, though. I just have to narrow it down because I don't want to buy, like, all of my options either, because then I would have too many and I would be super overwhelmed because of how many I have. But I have a short list now. Eventually you'll see which one I choose. I may choose a few from the short list actually, because, like, different things for different reasons and different styles of card and all that kind of jazz. But I ended up at one point my alarm is going off. That's fun. Anyway, I didn't realize it was this late. But I was going to do this as a 5x7 card. I am 99.9% sure that at one point I was going to do this as a 5x7 card. And I no longer remember what that design looked like at all. So I just grabbed out some A2 dies that I had and started, you know, messing around with them. Because I knew I was going to have to cut down the butterfly. He wasn't going to fit on an A2 card. So I was like, okay. I messed around with some dies, settled on the scalloped, used that happy anniversary that I had, added a couple of gemstones to it, and was like, you know what? This is actually going to be a great anniversary card to send out, and it came out really well. It was a little scrambly, but we did it. So, that's all I have for today. I am off next week because it is a 5 Saturday month. So you'll just have to, there just won't be a video next week. But then we'll be back with Crop and Create vlog next time. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'll see you again soon, and have a crafty day.